Ethan Harris of B of FA, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, Merrill Lynch research called it a pretty darn good number, and that it certainly pushes back against the hard landing notion. All this talk of recession risk. I mean, the U.S. economy is in pretty good shape. Even the Times admitted on page A1 on April 27th, saying reports of the economic expansion's death appear to have been greatly exaggerated. That piece by reporters Ben Castleman and Jim Tankersley noted that GDP surged unexpectedly. Here's something funny about that. Every single time, I used to watch economic numbers all the time because I did that as a part of my job as a mortgage banker and a finance person. And so you could set your watch to this fact. When a Democrat is president, you will get glowing economic reports coming out, and they will always be revised to the worse. They will always be revised the other way. And they will be reported as miracles by the news. Anytime there's a Republican office, it's exactly the opposite. They will report the economic numbers. Almost every single time when they do the revisions, they'll be revised to up or better, whichever that is. And the news will always downplay it. It's hilarious. I've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 presidents watching this. Now, I'm not old enough to go beyond that and to have paid attention to it during the first Bush years, etc. But ever since Clinton, I've been watching this happen. It's fascinating. Let's see, surge unexpectedly. That is faster than most economists expected and far better than the dour outlook up early this year, when many forecast that the figure could fall below 1%. They were predicting it would fall below 1%. Yeah, the predictions are always really low too. Expectations are always low. Good morning to all you need. Good morning, Izu. Welcome. Good morning, Seamus Derby. Good morning. Oh, I already said hi to Sarah. Hi again, Sarah. How are you? All right. So anyway, that's fascinating. Just fascinating. Hey, did y'all know? You remember Joe Piscopo from Saturday Night Live? Probably the mid to late 90s version. When Eddie Murphy and all them on there. Did you know Joe Piscopo is now a conservative radio talk show host? I had no idea. I saw an interview with him the other day, and I'm like, what the hell? Where did that happen? That's really weird. Joe Piscopo got weird for a while. You remember when Joe Piscopo was really, really into working out, and he was in a couple of movies, and dude was cut. He was he looked like a fitness model or a bodybuilder, somebody you'd see on the front of Fitness magazine. He was so cut and whatnot. But now he's a conservative talk show host. I had no idea. All right, let's move on. So my theme today is criminals. Oh no, right? What is it? Russia, criminals, and what was the other word I used? I can't even remember what I called the stream. I called it Russia, obstruction, and criminals. So I want to talk a little bit about the Russia. I read a couple articles, and one of them was regarding, what's the dude's name? James? What happened to it? I'm sorry, I was prepared. Where's my article on the LCBs? If you're not familiar with... here we go. This is a good question. And maybe we'll come up with an answer soon. But why are Clapper, as in James Clapper, and John Brennan, not in jail? It's an interesting question. So let's just go through this article a little bit. I'll put it on the screen. In fact, they're my thumbnail today. There they are, James Clapper and John Brennan. The clearest of all laws concerning U.S. intelligence is Section 798, 18 U.S. Code, widely known in the intelligence community as the Bauman statute, or the 10 and 10. Unlike other laws, this is the simple liability law. Motivation, context, identity matter not at all. You violate it, you are guilty and are punished accordingly. And here is that law. Whoever knowingly and willfully commits, furnishes, transmits, or otherwise makes available to an unauthorized person any classified information, 1. Concerning the nature, preparation, use of any code, cipher, or cryptographic system of the United States or any foreign government, or 2. Concerning the design, construction, use, maintenance, or repair of any device, apparatus, or appliance used or prepared or planned for use by the United States, or 3. Concerning the communication intelligence activities of the United States or any foreign government, or 4. Obtained by the processes of communication intelligence, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. That's the statute. Now, on December 9th and 10th, 2016, the New York Times and the Washington Post independently reported that anonymous senior intelligence officials had told them that based on intercepted communications, the intelligence agencies agreed that Russia had hacked the Democratic National Committee to help Donald Trump win the election. Their evidence was the fact of their access to U.S. communications intelligence. A flood of subsequent stories also cited allegations by senior intelligence officials that intercepted communications and intercepted calls showed that members of Donald J. Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and other Trump associates had repeated contacts with senior Russian intelligence officials in the year before the election. Incontrovertibly, officials who gave these stories to the Times and the Post violated the Bauman statute and are subject to the 10 and 10 for each count. There is no clear instance of what the governing law is, of how it is violated, and the punishment that it incurs. Consequently, there is no clear indictment of our legal system than the fact that no one has been prosecuted for these violations, much less punished. That brings us to the guys that we're talking about in this article, John Brennan and James Clapper. Nor is there any doubt as to who at least two of these senior intelligence officials are. Former CIA Director John Brennan. John Brennan? My name is John Brennan. And former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Beginning in January 2017, Brennan and Clapper made essentially the same statements on national television. The only possible excuse that their allegations were lies is irrelevant, because the essence of the violation is the revelation that U.S. intelligence was monitoring the communications of the Russians in America and those of the Trump campaign as well. This is true, and that revelation is a textbook violation of the Bauman statute. Very interesting. You know who else is in violation of the Bauman statute? James Comey. When he, in order to get a special prosecutor assigned to this Trump-Russia narrative, I'm going to call it a narrative because it was never a fact, also leaked classified information to the New York Times. They're very interesting. Anyway, so now this article says there's a reason. The reason no prosecutions have followed should be plain enough. The offenders are big people in the permanent government and in the Democratic Party. They have many good friends in the U.S. Justice Department from the top down. The Trump administration has been filled by much smaller people. Loud words aside, the president has kowtowed to the intelligence agencies in every way imaginable. No prominent Republican has chosen to challenge the de facto privileged relationships between Democrats in the intelligence agency and the media. So, wow, sorry. Excuse me. And so Brennan and Clapper continue as living proof that the United States has a dual system of justice. The example of their impunity speaks louder than any speech and reassures their leftist successors at the intelligence agencies that their channel to the Times and the Post is as safe as ever. That's a fascinating way to put it. Also, Brennan categorically lied under oath when he was testifying before Congress more than once, and they're very well documented lies. I may look that up again too. Sarah, I keep thinking about how the MSM liked to tout Obama's employment rates, but that would conveniently leave out that the number would just drop off. Let's see. Those numbers drop off. Those then ran out of employment. Oh yeah, when they ran out of employment benefits. Yeah, they stopped. They changed how they counted the employment numbers during the Obama administration, so that you don't count the people who just decided to not look anymore, just stopped looking for jobs. If they stopped looking for jobs, they no longer existed. Yeah, imagine that. All right. And the funny thing, the only person touting the current employment numbers seems to be the president, because the news media just doesn't seem to be interested in those numbers anymore. Okay, so why I'm wondering how long it's going to be if Clapper and Brennan are ever going to go to jail. And again, I told you, I did an impromptu stream yesterday afternoon, and I mentioned this too. There's going to be some other people that are going to start getting prosecuted and getting in trouble for some of the things they've done during this Russia investigation. And it started to get, and even back to the, the Benghazi thing with the email, Hillary Clinton's, I almost called it an email scandal. It's not an email scandal. It's not an email scandal. It is a classified information scandal. And it's also actually a government transparency scandal because, that's why she set up the server. She didn't want, she was trying to hide shit. And there's no doubt about it. I was thinking about this the other day too. She did an interview with Time 100. I might even do a couple clips about that today. She has the audacity right now to even say the words obstruction of justice when related to President Trump. This is a person who, when under subpoena for records, destroyed records, destroyed equipment, hid records, had the companies that were, there's two companies also backing up her servers that have well documented destroyed records. And again, these records were under, they smashed phones and equipment. They used if you're familiar with Bleachbit, it's a program that completely wipes your server for the most part. And she has the nerve to even say the words obstruction of justice. It's unbelievable. Maybe we'll do I want to go back and look at when James Comey had his press conference to tell the planet that that they were not going to charge Hillary with any crimes. And I want to go back because not only did he spend the entire time explaining that she did in fact break all these laws. I mean, step by step, just laid it out. That she actually broke all these laws, but they're not going to prosecute her because no one would ever take this case to court, and they couldn't determine her intent. And I'm going to say this until the cows come home. The law does not require intent. Gross negligence is plenty. And just the fact that so many people are in jail or have gone to jail for mishandling classified information. And I will always go back to the kid who took a picture of the nuclear sub for his parents. Went to jail for a year. He had no intent of stealing classified information. Just drives me nuts. Good morning, Grilling Pirate. Good morning, Grilling Pirate Pete. Hammer time to the devices. Hell yeah, she sure did. He said because he received his own suicide letter in the mail after he shot himself in the back of the head 2 times. I'm not okay. Tulsi Gabbard has a massively higher chance than Warren or Harris. Oh, you guys are talking about I saw some asshats on Twitter calling Gabbard a Russian Republican stooge while thinking Warren and Harris have any chance to become president. You know, Tulsi, as much as I disagree with a lot of Tulsi Gabbard's policies or whatever her ideas, I do agree with her. She's basically a strong anti-war candidate. I agree with that. And she is so sensible when she speaks. But again, so many Democrats hate her, and I haven't figured it out. I don't understand it. And that's why the progressive left hates her when she is a progressive. A lot of the progressive left hates her, and I haven't figured it out. If anyone knows why, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I have no idea. You would think she'd be a great candidate for the Democrats, but for some reason she's not. I'd like her to keep running. I think the more she talks, the more popular she becomes. I don't know that I would support her. I probably wouldn't. But she's the only one who's not. Oh, I know one reason that they don't like her. Because she doesn't buy into the Russiagate nonsense. She never did at all. All right, let's move on because I need to make sure I get done in time today. She goes against the DC War Machine. Yeah, she absolutely does. That's part of it. And the older and wiser I get, I would consider myself the anti-war right. There are many of us out there. I'm kind of the, I wasn't anti-war libertarian right, I would guess. I'm the more I listen to Rand Paul, the more I get him. I don't know about his dad. His dad just seems a little weird to me, but that I'm the anti-war right. Let's put it that way. All right. Next article. Let's see. Let me close that one out so I don't actually go back to it again. I mentioned this yesterday afternoon, but most of you weren't here, so we're going to go through this one again. Hope it doesn't bother anybody. But if you didn't know this, it was trending number 2 yesterday. Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein resigns. Thanks Trump for courtesy and humor in personal conversations. Now, I read the whole letter out yesterday, but this is the PJ Media version of the article. On Monday, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein submitted his resignation to President Trump effective May. Oh, it says May 1st. It's May 11th, actually. Rosenstein pointed out in his letter that the median tenure of a Deputy Attorney General is 16 months, and few serve longer than 2 years. When his resignation becomes effective on May, I could have sworn it's May 11th. Maybe it is May 1st. Rosenstein will just served just over 2 years. In his letter, the president, Rosenstein, lauded the Department of Justice, making rapid progress in achieving the administration's law enforcement priorities, reducing violent crime, curtailing opioid abuse, protecting consumers, improving immigration enforcement, and building confidence in the police while preserving national security and strengthening federal efforts in other areas. It's funny, as I read the letter too, Rosenstein laid it on thick, but seemed very, what would I say? He just seemed very appreciative, and I was trying to figure it out, because I don't know that Rosenstein's known for being a fan of Donald J. Trump, but it was almost like he was trying to boost Trump's ego with this letter, but maybe it's because he's also the guy who started the Russia probe with the special prosecutor, Robert Mueller. So maybe he was just trying to be a little extra, friendly in his resignation. Our nation, he continued, our nation is safer, our elections are more secure. I read some of the Twitter on that, just that line alone really pissed off a lot of people. Our elections, I don't know if they are or not. I don't know that they weren't secure. I think until they start providing evidence that this whole Russia nonsense changed a few votes, I'm just not buying it. Sorry. I don't know anyone who saw a picture of a buff Bernie Sanders in a comic book style, coloring book style, and said, hey, I'm going to vote for Trump because of that. Some Facebook ads, whatever. And perhaps the fact that Hillary was proven to be corrupt. I mean, hey, the DNC was cheating. I don't know how that affected. Obviously, Hillary still got nominated. I don't know. And she still didn't campaign in those states that she lost, that she thought for sure were hers in the bag. I don't know that any of the Russian stuff changed a vote, but they're sure trying to make it sound like it. Even the Mueller report, we'll get to that in a minute, but the second line of the Mueller report is talking about how there's this robust Russian effort to interfere in our elections, but nowhere in that report does it mention the results, the quantitative results. That's my phrase for until they come up with something. What were the quantitative results of this so-called Russian meddling? I'm sorry, until you can tell me that number, and if it affected, how many votes did it change? How many votes? Anyway, back to this, continuing. Our nation is safer, our elections are more secure, and our citizens are better informed about covert foreign influence efforts and schemes to commit fraud, steal intellectual property, and launch cyber attacks, he wrote. I am grateful to you for the opportunity to serve, Rosenstein told President Trump, for the courtesy and humor you often display in our personal conversations, and for the goals you set in your inaugural address: patriotism, unity, safety, education, and prosperity. Because a nation exists to serve its citizens, the Department of Justice pursues those goals while operating in accordance with the rule of law, he said. He also praised his colleagues at the DOJ. We also pursued illegal leaks, investigated credible allegations of employee misconduct, and accommodated congressional oversight without compromising law enforcement interests. I commend our 115,000 employees for their accomplishments and their devotion to duty. As Thomas Paine wrote, those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must undergo the fatigues of supporting it. And then he finished, where's the last line? I'm going to skip a bunch of this. They didn't put it in here. I should probably, we may do the letter later at the end, but The last words of the letter before he signed his name was America first. We're always trying to keep America first, which I'm sure was just a way to pump up Trump's ego, since he keeps saying it. But Rosenstein often found himself at loggerheads with the president, especially in the days after Trump fired then FBI Director James Comey. He was accused by FBI lawyer Andrew McCabe of discussing the possibility of wearing a wire to record private conversations with Trump and discussing with others the possibility of invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from office. Rosenstein and the DOJ pushed back strenuously against those charges. The Deputy Attorney General again rejects Mr. McCabe's recitation of events as inaccurate and factually incorrect, the Justice Department said in a statement. The Deputy Attorney General never authorized any recording that Mr. McCabe references. Well, yeah, he didn't say he did it. Did he say that? McCabe said that he talked about the possibility of wearing a wire. Anyway, as the Deputy Attorney General previously stated, based on personal dealings with the president, there is no basis to invoke the 25th Amendment, nor was the DAG in a position to consider invoking the 25th Amendment. Last week, Rosenstein blasted critics defending his department's handling of the Russia collusion investigation that turned up no evidence that Trump or anyone in his campaign staff colluded with the Russians. He told attendees at a dinner that he had promised to do it right when he was confirmed by the Senate and take the investigations to the appropriate conclusion. I almost said collusion. That's funny. Zombie Teddy, has anyone else got the feeling that the only reason they keep going after Trump is the Democrats were cheating to get Hillary elected and still lost? Yeah, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. I just have. Good morning, MC. Can't touch this. All right. Let's go. All right. So that's Rosenstein resigns. We all knew that. If you were here yesterday, you knew that. Here's another one. Speaking of wait a minute. What did I name this? What did I call this stream today? What did I call this? I called it Russia, Obstruction, and Criminals. Okay. Back to this new Daily Caller article. Progressive Caucus co-chair filed amended financial disclosure following the Daily Caller News Foundation report. I can't read this. Hang on. What's going on here? Come on. There we go. A co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus filed an amended financial disclosure report Friday, revealing in 2017 his service on the board of a dark money nonprofit group dedicated to helping his caucus achieve its legislation goals. Representative Mark Pocan of Wisconsin filed the amended report one day after the Daily Caller News Foundation revealed he had omitted from his original disclosure his position on the board of the Congressional Progressive Caucus Center. Legal experts said Pocan could face civil and criminal penalties if he knowingly and willfully failed to disclose his position with the group from his financial disclosure. Pocan and his fellow Progressive Caucus co-chair, Representative Pramila Jayapal of Washington, served on the board of the CPCC in 2017, according to the nonprofit's 990 tax form from that year, the most recently available. But neither lawmaker disclosed their board position on their original 2017 financial disclosure statements as required by the House Committee on Ethics. These positions were clearly reportable and seems pretty cut and dry to me, a former general counsel of the National Republican Congressional Committee, Jessica First Johnson, told the Daily Caller News Foundation. So anyway, they're let's talk about a little ethics. If it's a knowing and willful violation, that's I see. First Johnson cautioned that it's unlikely the nonpartisan Office of Congressional Ethics will penalize Jayapal and Pocan for their omitting their CPCC board positions from their original financial disclosures under the Ethics in Government Act if it's a knowing and willful failure to disclose then they're subject to penalties, both civil and criminal, First Johnson said. There is a little bit of leeway that's typically granted with respect to financial disclosures. The committee seems to give the benefit of doubt that an omission was unintentional. But if it's a knowing and willful violation, that's certainly not the case, First Johnson added. So, yeah, LCBs. If I ever talked about LCBs, good morning. Oh, good. Hi again. Sorry to be late. No, you don't have to be sorry. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, MC. LCBs. If you're not, if you may hear me use the term LCB occasionally. Not to be confused with FTG, which we all know what FTG means. LCB stands for lying, cheating bastards. So if you ever hear me say, in fact, put an LCB in the chat for me right now for, what's his name? Representative Mark Pocan. He's an LCB. Put an LCB in the chat. Thank you. I know you can do it. LCB. Wait, which way? LCB. Is that close? There you go. Got an LCB. Lying, cheating bastards. Alrighty then. Oh yeah. Here's another problem, Democrat. Now let me just make a quick caveat here. I will also feature LCBs that are Republicans. Today they just happen to be Democrats, but today it's the party of your betters that I'm going to worry about today because they're just better than you. Getting down with the Democrats, California Democrat boss Eric Bauman forcibly performed oral sex on male staffer, lawsuit alleges. What? Democratic staffer William Floyd charges that former California Democratic Party boss Eric Bauman, 59, forcibly performed oral sex on him several times. Floyd, 28, is suing the 59-year-old Bauman over sexual harassment, assault, battery, negligence, and civil rights violations. Bauman forced Floyd to submit to oral sex 2 other times. The April 24th lawsuit contends, and Bauman once told Floyd, "If you cross me, I will break you." It wasn't the first brush with such allegations from the New York-born Bauman. Though not a household name across the nation, the accused sexual abuser is a major player in the Democratic Party. According to his 2004 bio, Bauman is a registered nurse with graduate education in healthcare administration and founder of the firm Consultants in Nursing Services Administration. He became a member of the California Democrats, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? When Bauman was contending for chairmanship of the California Democratic Party, rumors began emerging that he had engaged in inappropriate behavior with 14 and 16-year-old boys. As the Los Angeles Blade reported, Bauman blew it off as an old saw used against gay or lesbian candidates. Oh yeah, just brush it off because, they're just trying to, smear the gay people. The accusations of pedophilia come out, Bauman told the Blade. The accusations that we're promiscuous, the accusations that we have drug problems. And so on and so on. So anyway, so he's being sued, and that's one of my criminals of the day. And then yesterday we kind of went through this article, Obamagate, no misdemeanors, only high crimes. We did that one in the afternoon too. I just thought it was fascinating that we're just starting to read articles about this. And I wanted to go, here's why I brought that up. I want to go through a video today. Let's see, how much time do we have? This video is about, do we do the Bongino one? That's 36 minutes. I don't have time for that today. Let's go look at some of the Hillary Clinton videos, because she did an interview with Time Magazine, and I want to just go through a couple of the clips that were there. So let's look at those real quick. Give me just a second here. Any proof beyond accusations? If I don't support it against Kavanaugh, I can't support it against this Democrat. You know what? I agree. He is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not sure if this is the first time, but you're right, Pete. I don't disagree with you at all. I don't disagree with you at all. Just interesting though that when we where was that article from? Let me see if I can figure that out. I found that because, let's see here. Give me 1 second. Just that, if this were Republican, you'd have heard this all over the nation. Now, where did this come from? This is only from Front Page. Let's see if they had where did Front Page get it from? They got it from the Sacramento Bee Capital Alert. Let's see here. Yeah, fascinating. So that was reported by the Sacramento Bee. Oh, because there is a lawsuit that's pending. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. Who knows? Good morning, Maddie. I just saw you come in. Good morning, Zombie Teddy. Were you already here? You just got here. Okay. Hello. Good morning. Or you were here a while ago. I'm sorry. I always lose track. All right, moving on. I want to look at a couple of these interviews interview clips with Hillary Clinton. I want to go. Actually, maybe I'll spend some time and do a video on the whole thing, because it's so annoying. I watched this thing and I was just screaming at my screen when I was watching this interview. So many things. I mean, first of all, Hillary has not accepted the fact that she may have lost the election because of the one thing that probably is the biggest factor in her losing the election. And that is, she is Hillary Clinton. She just hasn't resolved that fact. Yes, she was the anointed one, the one who was supposed to be that first woman president, and it was her turn. But the problem is she's still Hillary Clinton, and people just don't care for her, even in her own party. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. By the way, down here, share, over there, subscribe, hit the bell if you haven't already. I think everyone here is. Over here, hit the like button. Okay, just like while you're there. In fact, right now, as I'm talking to you in the screen, hit the like button. I would appreciate that. Later, if you want to watch this later, it'll be on here. You can throw some things in the comments. And super chats we do through Streamlabs. The link is in the chat, thanks to my buddy Sarah. All right, let's. Ooh, what the hell is that? A big ass bird just outside my window. All right, let's look at a couple of these clips. Hillary Clinton, real quick. Hillary Clinton on the Mueller report. Let's do this real quick. Here we go.
That is the main story, and it's a story that needs to be told and retold over and over again, because we were the subject of a foreign adversary's attack, an attack on our election, an attack on our sovereignty, an attack on our democracy.
Again, I'm going to say this over and over and over. I'm sorry I didn't put it on the screen. What were the quantitative results of this attack? We do not know. she does not know. Nobody has said that she lost the election because of the Russians. But people who are sycophants, but there has been nothing in any report quantifying the effect of some stupid Facebook ads. Okay? There just is not. And they want to make it sound like, she talks like, for some parts of this interview, like they went and hacked all the counties in Florida and they hacked the election. They use the term hack the election over and over and over as though the Russians came in and changed election results. The Russian ads, most of them were after the election. It's just stupid. Anyway, here we go. What? Oh, anyway, here we go.
And you can try to figure out everything that did happen, and we're a long way from knowing, because we need to get the full report, the unredacted version.
That's another canard, too. They assume that there's something in this unredacted version that really means anything. It's funny, as I was looking at that report, even though there are redactions, not nearly as many as I was expecting. I was expecting, the typical, the whole report's redacted and there might be 2 words that they leave in. There were only a couple pages that were like that. And again, the Miller team was involved in making the redactions. It wasn't just the Attorney General's office. It was the Mueller team that did the redactions.
And certainly the Congress deserves to get it. But I think it's fair to say that this is not just about a reckoning with the recent past. This is about what is going on today and the threats to our next election,
They are forecasting that if Trump wins again, they're going to blame it on the Russians.
Defense as a nation. So, Edward, I think the report is long, and it obviously takes time to wade through it, but especially for this group, it's something that every American who cares about holding our adversaries accountable.
Here's another interesting thing. So the Russians are adversaries. That's the whole new thing, and it's funny how she loves to call people xenophobic, and yet it's fine to be xenophobic against Russians. But during the last administration, while Secretary Clinton was the Secretary of State, it's fascinating. You had that time when they did the reset button thing, which was a big gaffe because I'm sorry, you don't want to do anything with a red button in front of the Russians. But also the fact that, so these are supposed to be our mortal adversaries now. And Mitt Romney even said that in his running, who's our biggest geopolitical foe, and Romney said Russia, and Obama said, hey, it's, hey, the 80s called and they want our foreign policy back. But if they were our adversaries, why is it that we sold 20% of our country's uranium capacity to a foreign adversary while she was Secretary of State, while the President Obama was president? Now, how did that happen? Now, it's funny that just not long before that happened, Bill Clinton was paid $500,000 by the Russians to give a speech over there. and they gave millions and millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation. It just so happened that Hillary Clinton didn't object to this particular transaction. Now their excuse is, there's dozens of people around there that are all supposed to talk about who's going to allow this to happen. But sorry, the President of the United States and the Secretary of State probably have a kind of a veto power over everybody's ideas on that. But anyway, I digress. There's suddenly this adversary. When did they become our enemy? It seems like, we were trying to improve our relations with them until Hillary Clinton lost. Now suddenly they're our adversary. And all we're doing is we keep poking them too. It's like we're like, how many things are we blaming on the Russians right now? It's amazing. They're not, and it's funny because the Russians aren't even they're not even the top 10 of economic powers. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're, the fact that they still have a military might is great, but economically, Russia can't afford to mess with us economically, because it would ruin the entire world economy, and they would be harder hit than anybody in the world. Their economy, again, theirs is pretty much it's a natural resource economy that if there's a worldwide recession, they get crushed. So anyway, let's continue this.
Looking to prevent what happened from ever happening again.
Okay, but she can't say what's happened. Okay. Prevent what? Prevent you from becoming president? Well, hey, unless you run again, and we don't have to worry about that anyway. I'm sorry.
Should take the time to go through. And I'm really of the mind that the Mueller report is part of the beginning. It's not the end. Maybe, as Churchill famously said, it's the end of the beginning. Because there's still so much more that we should know and that we should act upon. And obviously that's what the Congress is trying to figure out what to do.
And the Mueller report was supposed to be the end. If the Mueller report had if the Mueller report had only created more indictments, then it would be the end, because that would be the end all be all end all. But since they didn't get what they want, no. Let's just move that goalpost back a little bit. Now the Mueller report is the end of the beginning. Because now we have to go to our own middle, and it's silly. It's silly. Okay, so there's another one here. Clinton on impeachment. Let's watch this one.
I want to ask you about the other experience with impeachment, because you wrote in our current issue the tribute to Nancy Pelosi, whom we'll hear from a little bit later. And one of the things you said about her is that she's holding the line against the Trump administration right now in Washington. She has said it's not worth it. Impeachment is not worth it. And I wanted to know, I think everybody would like to know, whether you agree and whether the Mueller report has shifted your views at all on that.
Well, I think what Nancy means, and I agree with what she means, is that it shouldn't be a preordained conclusion. It shouldn't be what you do for partisan political purposes, almost outside the framework of the Constitution. It should be something undertaken in a really serious, diligent way, based on evidence, not on partisan advantage.
Is there anyone right now who thinks the current hearings are not about gaining partisan advantage? Again, they didn't get what they want from the Mueller report. And Mueller, to his discredit, wrote a report that gave them fodder to try to continue putting the microscope up the administration's butthole. But to say that this is not a partisan thing is silly, okay? Because the Mueller report concluded that there was no collusion, and so, and then didn't make a judgment on obstruction. So, of course, there's no underlying crime to obstruct an investigation of. But for the most part, if you really, really think about it, they were far more cooperative than they needed to be. They didn't stop any witnesses from testifying under executive privilege. They never used executive privilege at all, which surprised me a little bit. But that would have been fodder again for an obstruction charge. So they didn't even use executive privilege for any of this. But now they're saying, you know what? We've already had the Justice Department, the special prosecutor, up our behinds long enough, and so now they seem to be pushing back against the more political, side of the investigation, and I, maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not, but they're just tired. I think they're just tired of being screwed with. So maybe that's why. So, all right, here we go.
And so what she's now putting in place, I think, addresses that. As I understand it, there will be many more public hearings at which people who have a role, like they did in 1974, came forward. I mean, the witnesses in 1974 and 73 and 74 were predominantly administration witnesses. They were John Dean, who happened to be White House counsel. So it's fully appropriate for this Congress to call Don McCann, who happened to be White House counsel, and you go down.
Well, maybe not. The witnesses in 74 weren't the subject of a 2-year special prosecutor probe. Big difference. So maybe these guys might be saying, you know what? Screw you, Congress. We'll make this work out in the courts. If the courts say we have to do this, maybe, but we're gonna just, you know what? That's the third branch of government that can be involved in this. They can say, you know what? You're gonna subpoena us. I don't think we need to follow your subpoenas. Let's take it to court and figure out if we really need to do this. So remember, there's a third branch of government that can drop the bomb, one way or the other. So here we continue.
Down the line. And what I think her argument is, we want to show the American people we take our constitutional responsibilities seriously.
We want a show trial on television to dig up as much crap as we can, even if it's not sticking, because it's easy to. Anyway, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. There we go.
And I agree with that, absolutely. So you don't put impeachment on the table as the only item on the table and say you're going to get there no matter what, which is what happened in 99.
Really? Because Eric Swalwell has, Maxine Waters has, Elizabeth Warren is asking them to do it. So maybe you should talk to your colleagues. And I don't think her answer's terrible here. As in, she's right. She could say the Congress can certainly continue to ask questions and not make impeachment the number one goal. But I think she and Bill might have resentment from left over from 99 when it happened to him. But here we go.
Instead, you say, we are going to proceed with the seriousness that this demands. And the House Judiciary Committee, if there is a sufficient, careful analysis of what's in the Mueller report and what's coming to light through congressional hearings, may well start an impeachment inquiry whose responsibility is not to prejudge the outcome, but to examine the evidence as objectively as possible, and then to draw conclusions. And if at that point they believe that high crimes and misdemeanors have been committed, then I think it is the obligation of the Congress to put forward articles of impeachment. And I think...
Well, clearly, if you are to believe the Mueller report, there are no crimes So, because no one else is being indicted, and they're saying, oh, well, the Justice Department says the president can't be indicted. They can be there's no unsealed indictments either. So, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Nancy understands that kind of sweep.
All right, I'm going to go to another one here because I'm done listening to that one. This is a good one too. I would love to do this whole interview. Maybe I'll do a video instead about it. Here's again. Here's one.
And you said, we deserve to see the Mueller report.
Right.
Oh, that's the beginning of the end. We already looked at that one. Wait, why is this on here twice? Oh, I see. We talked about the beginning and the end. Sorry about that. Here's another one.
I have one more question, and then I want to let people in the audience ask some questions. There's a slide there, if you can get that up on the screen.
Sorry, Sarah. You're yelling at your phone.
Are doing an ongoing analysis of the way candidates are covered, and we can't see it exactly from where we are, but the gist of it is they're measuring positive and negative words used about candidates, and the most positive words used are for Sanders, Beto, somebody else, Biden. Oh, it's Booker. Sorry. Thank you. I can't see. What advice do you have? We have more women running in the Democratic primary than ever.
So this chart means nothing. Percentage of positive words used. Notice something on this chart. What's missing? You notice something missing here? So media Senate by candidate, percentage of positive words used. You notice there's no numbers for scale. What the hell does this chart mean? And, there's some people missing on this chart. Joe Biden, Buttigieg, Swalwell, that other mayor that's running that I can't remember his name, Ralph what's-his-face, that's been in every election since the beginning of time. There's a lot of people missing here, but they only use this group where it kind of comes into this neat little order. Sanders, Booker, O'Rourke, Warren, Klobuchar, Harris, and Gillibrand. With no scale on the chart. Just what the hell? Anyway.
Advice to them.
Right. Well, I wrote a book called What Happened.
Yeah! Your book called What Happened, which should have been titled, It Wasn't Me, or They Did This to Me.
And a paperback, which added to the argument.
This is some audacity, though. Listen to this.
And I have a chapter called Women in Politics. And I address the very real way that I was covered and the way I was treated online, in real life. And I say, look, whatever responsibility I should take for it, I take for it. But
oh my God, the way she was treated, I can get through about 10 seconds of this one at a time. Does anyone remember any major news outlet, except for maybe Fox News, that wasn't a complete and utter sycophant for Hillary Clinton? The Washington Post, New York Times, the Sacramento Bee, the Los Angeles Times, the ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, everyone treated Hillary Clinton as the anointed one, as the one who should be, the one who should be. Yes, Donald Trump got airtime because he was a novelty for a while. And also because they thought he was a joke, and they thought the more they pushed him, the more that, it was that Pied Piper strategy. But my God, everyone had deference for Hillary and made excuses for her every time she fainted, and oh my God, how she was treated in the media. she was treated. Well, in fact, what's this magazine? Was it Time or Newsweek? Maybe it was Newsweek that had the cover already made. Madam President. Get the fuck out of here.
But beyond that, there is something else at work. And at the time I wrote the book, it was, spring of 2017. And I was already seeing the way that people like Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren.
Kamala Harris, who, how can I put this delicately? Her rise in politics was due to someone else's rise, if you know what I mean. Willie Brown. Affair with Willie Brown. Kamala Harris, come on.
Warren were being treated.
Elizabeth Warren. Oh, you think anyone thinks negatively of Elizabeth Warren due to the fact that she claimed to be a Native American, claimed to be Cherokee, and then took that stupid DNA test, and everyone's scoffing at her now? Really? Come on.
I never saw anybody shut down on the floor of the Senate the way Mitch McConnell shut down Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, you haven't? Really? There's never ever been when this is in reference to when Elizabeth Warren it was during Jeff Sessions' confirmation hearings, and there are rules in the Senate that you cannot disparage a member of the Senate, even if you're using someone else's words. And now, at one point, Coretta Scott King had said something that was something bad about. You could take some different Coretta Scott King quotes, because at one point she said that Sessions was fair, blah blah blah. But there was another point in another career in her life where she made some really disparaging remarks about Jeff Sessions, and Elizabeth Warren wanted to quote those things, and her time was up, and so McConnell used the Senate procedures to shut her down. And so that's what she's talking about here. It's happened before to men. It hasn't. Just because, you know what? Guess what? If you're going to be in the Senate, you follow the rules, regardless of what your sex or gender is. Okay? She didn't follow the rules, and McConnell called her on it.
And basically told her to stop talking in the midst of a debate about whether Jeff Sessions should be Attorney General. And she was reading a letter from Coretta Scott King. And
Coretta Scott King or Gandhi, or if it was a letter from God himself, if you're breaking the rules, you're breaking the rules. Doesn't matter who the letter was from. And Coretta Scott King is a venerable figure in our history, but doesn't matter.
That Coretta had sent years before against Sessions becoming a federal judge because of his views and his actions. And Mitch McConnell went out there and basically shut her down.
Right. And they haven't shut anyone else down in the history of the Senate or the House of Representatives. It happens all the time. So, sorry, this is not a good example, Madam Secretary.
I saw Kamala at a hearing cross-examining Jeff Sessions, as she should. She was a member of the committee. That was her responsibility. And I saw the chairman gavel her into silence. And I saw example after example after example.
Yeah, never happens with men. Nope, never happens with men. Oh my gosh. Have you ever watched a Senate hearing or a congressional hearing? Mike, stop pretending that only happens to women.
Because, after Elizabeth was forced to leave the floor of the Senate, a really good guy, I think it was Jeff Merkley, senator from Oregon, he walked out and he finished reading the letter. And McConnell didn't say a word.
It was within his time.
You can be a little paranoid about this, or you can say, there is something going on that we need to pay attention to. And I saw a study like that, don't know if it's the same one, and I wish I could say I was shocked. Because all during 2016, online, there were people who say, well, I sure would vote for a woman, just not that woman. And now all of a sudden, some of those women they said they would support, they're running, and I'm not voting for that woman. Now, part of the problem is that I still don't think, I think people don't understand unconscious bias. And what I would say is, there is outright
I'm not sure why
nasty sexism
edited there.
And misogyny. Go online sometime and read comments in response.
Oh, go read the comment section. Yeah, that'll do you. That'll be it.
Activist women or elected women. Pick your choice.
Read the comments to any elected official. If you Secretary Clinton, I got an idea for you. Go online and open up Donald J. Trump's Twitter feed and look at the comments that come after Donald J. Trump's Twitter feed and see if anyone seems abusive or dismissive or blah, 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 blah. Welcome to the internet, Secretary Clinton.
But a lot of it is unconscious.
I'm sure most of it's very conscious. They don't like you, Hillary. Sorry, people in your own party don't like you.
People who could pass a lie detector test saying, well, I'm not biased. How dare you say I'm biased? I know I'm not biased. But then all of a sudden, you listen to the conversation. A man is assertive, a woman is aggressive. A man is forceful, a woman is shrill. You go down the list. And about the worst thing you can say is that a woman is ambitious. Well,
or you're just Hillary Clinton.
No, we live.
All right, I've had enough of her. I'm sorry. I can't even do it anymore. Turn her down. Get off my screen. Get the hell off my screen. I'm sorry. Is that my unconscious bias showing, or is it my disdain for Hillary Clinton? I'm looking forward. And now maybe I'm a little premature on this, but I would really like Nikki Haley to run for president in 2024. I'm not sure why. Maybe, hopefully, I remember when she was governor of South Carolina, she was kind of a no-nonsense person. And I kind of liked her style. And when she was the ambassador to the UN, she was very independent, and even though she didn't always agree with Trump, she was willing to disagree with Trump, and they would talk it out. They had their little debates with each other, and she made her case. That's what should happen. Oh, by the way, the Streamlabs link is in the chat again. If you feel like get a super chat in before I go to, I have to leave in about 5 minutes. So you know what? Let's just get out of this because my brain hurts. Hillary Clinton. Let's just kick in a couple trends for the day and get the heck out of here because we need to do that because that's it. All right, so on to Twitter trends. Thank you. Hello, everybody, again. I am Dawg Knight. I'm here and the Morning Night Live. By the way, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT, Monday through Friday. Let's kick a couple Twitter trends here before we go. Wait a minute, what's all this stuff? I got all kinds of things going on. Okay, Sarah, both of these articles that you sent me, we are going to do tomorrow. We do have a new presidential candidate we have to announce, and okay, that'll be cool too. Oh, that'll be my fun one to leave with. All right, thank you, Sarah. I'm actually going to use one of those today. Real quick, Twitter trends. Where the hell did it go? There it goes. All right, number one trending on Twitter today. People are talking about Sonic. The movie for Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic in action on the first official trailer for the Sonic movie. Jim Carrey is actually playing a character in this movie. Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know if I'm not going to watch it, but it is here. At least not with sound on because I keep getting copyright strikes for this. So anyway, John Kerry is Dr. Robotnik, In the first official trailer for the upcoming live-action Sonic film, Sonic the Hedgehog is set for release this November. Lots of people talking about it. I'm not so excited for this because I was never, I was never a Sonic person. And or Dr. Eggman, I'm sorry. What did they say? They said Jim Carrey playing who? Dr. Robotnik. No, he's Dr. Eggman. Is that the same person? I don't know. Anyway. All right, so there's a couple pictures here. There's a couple pictures from Rotten Tomatoes. Little preview of Carrie in the movie. All right, so Sonic, that's trending number 1. Number 2 today is, let's go here. Okay, number 2, Venezuela. What's happening in Venezuela? Guaido is accused of an attempted coup by the government. Venezuela opposition leader Juan Guaido was seen in a video appearing to call for a military uprising. Okay, so there's going to be, Venezuela's been a big topic. A lot of the big news outlets are going to be talking about this, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of argument on Venezuela. If you listen to some of the progressive left, they think that all the news we're hearing about Venezuela is a lie. In fact, here's Aaron Matei. One thing that I imagine also factors into White House calculations here is they think that with the United States is trying to overthrow Venezuela. I don't know if that's the case or not. I wish I knew. There's some evidence that it might be the case. I really think we need to just stay out of it, let them do their thing, but whatever. One thing that I imagine also factors in the White House calculations here is they not only face no opposition on their Venezuela coup, they think the United States is involved in a coup in Venezuela attempt from the Democratic leadership. They, in fact, enjoy support. So there is no domestic cost to suffocate Venezuela and overthrow its government. Interesting. Because they're monitoring events, stand with the Venezuelan people. See, now, I have no idea what to think. Nancy Pelosi supports this. So, yeah, so the White House, they think the White House is doing this, and the Democratic leadership all seems to be on board. Only a tyrant with the delivery of food and medicine to people he claims to lead. The international community must support Juan Guaido and the National Assembly. It's time for Maduro to step aside and allow the democratic transition. The Venezuelan people deserve better. So it seems like everyone in the U.S. government is on the same page, but there's a lot of people, the progressive left, who thinks this is more a U.S. dirty pool in Central America. I have no idea who to believe on any of this. See here, some people are stop calling the uprising in Venezuela a coup. It's not a coup. This person says Guaido is the legitimate interim president of Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro is the illegitimate dictator. People deserve to take their freedom back. But, back and forth, you're going to find there's a big argument on this right now. Maduro, yes, now the consensus, I'm pretty sure, in our neck of the world is that Maduro deserves to be overthrown. I think the people need to get rid of him. I don't know how, not, in some way, I don't think we need to be involved in it, but I think that, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, number 3, trending Scott Foster. Apparently, Scott Foster is, this says Scott Foster walking into Oracle. He's going to officiate the Game 3. Houston Rockets demands more calls. NBA assigns Scott Foster. Houston Rockets are happy about that. I don't get it. Rockets did all that whining about the refs, and the NBA gave them Scott Foster for Game 2. I'm cracking up. I don't know. I have no idea what this means. Apparently, Scott Foster is a ref that probably isn't real friendly for the Houston Rockets. I don't know. I don't know what that... Here, there's something funny about this. I don't know if this is funny. Veteran official Scott Foster has been assigned to Game 2 between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. Foster, who was born in 1976, has been a referee in 24 seasons, according to his official bio. He has officiated 1,413 regular season games and 176 playoff games, including 18 finals games. He's being assigned as official for Tuesday's game. Usually wouldn't be a big deal, but the Rockets have a long-running feud with Foster. Oh, that's it. So they were complaining about officiating. So they have they assign a ref that has a feud with the Rockets, and the Rockets were not pleased at all with the officiating in Game 1, and the league admitted that the referees got it wrong in favor of the Warriors 3 times in the final 2 minutes of the game. Oh, man, you complain, and that's what you get. All right, let's move on, because I got to get through this crew. Tuesday thoughts. Let's do one. The top Tuesday thought from Hardline Stance. Bernie throws shade at primary rigor, empty arenas, low stamina Hillary. Won't seek 2020 election advice from that loser. Jinx, what did Bernie say? Gosh. Apparently... Okay, Sanders told Meghan McCain he isn't remotely interested in asking his 2016 Democratic rival for insights or assistance, which he shouldn't, because she cheated him out of at least a couple states. I don't think Bernie would have won the nomination, but damn, that super delegate thing that the Democrats do really kind of screwed Bernie over. It probably cost him some momentum. Moving on. Oh, I didn't do a good Tuesday thought. Here we go. If there was a pill to cure procrastination, I would probably take it tomorrow. There you go. That's your Tuesday thought. Moving on. What's number 3? James Marsden. I don't know who that is. More Sonic the Hedgehog. We'll skip that. Wait a minute. What did Dollarville? I feel like James Marsden being the second banana in CGI Sonic is a statement on the status of the X-Men cinematic universe. What? I don't know what that means. Anyway, I don't care. There's a lot of people talking about James Marsden because he's involved with the Sonic movie. Operation Libertad. That's going on in Venezuela. I'll skip that. Tuesday Motivation. I'll skip that. Benjamin Button and Me. Taylor 6 cents. Benjamin Button and Me. What? Benjamin meeting mom for the first time. A historic moment. Benjamin Button and Me. Why is this trending? The story of Taylor and Benjamin Button has arrived, and it's got us like, whoa, watch it ASAP, if not sooner, and then talk about using it. Me behind the scenes story of Benjamin Button. I don't know. I mean, I know the movie Benjamin Button, but I don't care. Let's move on. Let's see if there's something good in Twitter Trends before I have to go. I only got about 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. The Tony Award nominations. Does anyone care about the Tony Awards? If you care about the Tony Awards, press 1. If you could care less about the Tony Awards, press 2. Here, I'm gonna give my vote. Whoops. Ding. I don't care. Because, I love Broadway shows, but I don't pay attention. I don't care. Boozy was Boozy. Boozy go on stupid IG. Okay, that's some rapper, dude. I don't know. I don't care. Is there anything in here I really care about? More about the tear gas fired outside Caracas Air Force Base. Dude, this is going to be a mess in Venezuela. It just is. It's going to continue to be a mess until they get somebody. Stacey Abrams is number 15, announces she won't run for a Senate seat in Georgia. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. All right, that's it. Spencer Ware signs with the Colts from Kansas City. All right, that's all we're going to do today because I got to get out of here. People, I am so happy you were here today. I'm just saying, I really am. We do this every day. I get a few people in here, and some of you are so loyal, and it makes me happy that I just do this often. And I appreciate you, the 10 of you who are still here. I gotta go. It's Tuesday, and I do work in the afternoon. So, thank you so much for being here. It's been fun. My name is Dawg Knight. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for those people in other parts of the world who use the Greenwich Mean Time to figure out when things are happening here in the States. And I got to get through some of those Hillary videos. I might actually do a video. I keep talking about doing videos. I got to do one. I think I'm going to have more time though now because unfortunately my basketball team that I'm coaching this summer has had to dissolve. We had some girls that had to leave the team, and we don't have enough new players unless I find a couple new ones. So I'm going to have more time on my hands. Although I probably fill it in with more training time. That's what I do. I coach basketball for a living, and it's very rewarding, but sometimes things happen. Anyway, I gotta go. Thank you for being here. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.